All right. So, I'm Devin Wilmoth. If you're sitting in front of this video right now, it's most likely because you're interested in Amazon FBA, starting your own business, and you're most likely about to join my Discord. So, fuck the Lambos, fuck the fat crib, screw all that BS. I'm going to just simply sit on here and talk to you and provide facts about why running a business is the best thing you could do for yourself in 2024 or even in 2025. I'm not here to tell you you can make $1 million, even though you very well can if you do it the right way. I'm here to just talk about the benefits of building a sustainable source of income that you are solely in charge of, not your manager, not your company you work for, nobody. Where that piece of paper that you got that you paid 200 grand for, where you probably didn't even learn anything, can't decide or halt you from moving forward in your life and progressing, where the one and only factor of how successful you are is up to you, your ability to learn something, and your ability to take action. So there are many, many benefits behind working for yourself. And I want to start out by let's just be honest here. I am so sick and tired of the average American employee and how much making 100 grand validates them. Because once you start your own business and you wake up to the reality of the world, anyone with a sliver of intelligence would shift the way they think about things and realize what's important. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep at the end of the year. And as an employee, okay, congrats, you made 100 grand, congrats. Well, you really actually only got to keep about 75 grand after 25% of that gets to go to Ukraine, all the guys building the roads that, you're slamming potholes, getting flat tires on, you're going to taxes. I might be getting a little carried away there, but you get the gist. And then let's not forget rent. Okay. Well, 16 grand of that, if you're lucky, probably more like upwards of 20 grand of that is going to go to rent, especially as rent only increases. Okay. So now we're down to 55 grand we get to keep. How much you're spending on groceries, how much you're spending on the weekends. There's always something going on the weekends. How much are you spending on student loan debt that you're trying to get out of? And if you play by the system, if you play by the rules, you are royally fucked. And if you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to share some personal information about how playing by the rules, playing it safe, keeps you royally fucked. But first, I want to start by just talking a little bit about my story and how I got to where I am today. So let's see, where could I begin? So I think it really all started right around COVID. I got this sense of just ambition, and I don't know where it came from. I got this sense of just wanting to make money and wanted to learn everything possible about how I can make money. How do you make money? Because when I started working, minimum wage was $9 an hour. And I was like, how do you make more than this? And I think it's always just been in my nature to try to push the limits on things, push the boundaries, and even break the rules in some spaces safely. However, around COVID, I got my first well-paying job, and it was selling Cutco. It was COVID. Nowhere was hiring, in person at least. Cutco was a virtual sales job with a really well laid out sales script, and I learned the importance of selling on a why. Why am I selling these Cutco knives? And I was selling them to get through college. You see, I do not come from a rich family. I do not really come from much of anything. I do not come from much, well laid out examples in front of me to follow after. Really where I got to today, I made a lot of these decisions solely on myself. And, I really do believe a lot of it has to do with, my faith in God and, my faith and belief in myself and my work ethic. And then on top, just simply taking action and trying new things, throwing as many things at the wall and just seeing what sticks is what got me to where I am today. But so anyway, I started selling Cutco. I think I made about $6,000 that summer selling Cutco, and maybe made a couple $1,000s door dashing, right? I was a college student at the time at West Virginia University. I was trying to make money to go back to college, but I wasn't trying to just work some job, get something on my resume, because I knew I was going to go back to school and get a check given to me by my mom to go blow at the bars. I was trying to survive, right? I was trying to create a sustainable source of income to support myself in college. And, at this time, we'll get a little personal here. I had a girlfriend at the time, right? And truly, heartbreak is one of the best things a young man can go through. You essentially just come out of it, more emotionally aware of yourself, who you are, and you come out of it a lot more, mentally tough. Any guy that's been through it knows exactly what I'm talking about. You go from feeling like you very well might die, right? Not knowing what you're going to do without this person, to a whole new version of yourself, right? That first breakup essentially kills that version of yourself and births a whole new person, right? You cannot grow without pain. And this one breakup taught me that. I learned how pain and enduring pain, right, really just toughens you up, builds thicker skin, makes you more mentally aware of the world and things around you and who you are. And, that's, a huge, important learning lesson that you don't get without enduring something like that, without, in general, enduring hardships. Anyway, we don't need to get too fascinated on that. However, when that happened, I felt a huge sense of unworthiness, right? I felt like I was not worthy. And what are you going to do? You can either let that make you or break you. And I'm typically not the type of person to just let something break me. I've always found a way to put myself back together again, find the bright side of every situation, and move forward in life. So I got in the gym, I rebuilt myself, I put myself back together as best as possible. And about a year later, we're on summer break again. This summer, I'm working as a lifeguard. And about 3 hours into my first shift, I could not have been more bored. I could not have felt more like I'm doing nothing but absolutely just wasting my time here. And I had a whole summer ahead of me. The first 3 hours into my shift, I was like, what am I doing right now? I'm sitting here watching water. Nobody's even swimming. And that is when, the idea of my business, I think, was birthed. Birthed, born, whatever. That's when I had the idea. I was like, while I'm sitting here, how could I be making more money while I'm making more money? And I immediately got on eBay, made an account, and started trying to sell stuff on eBay. I started grabbing up everything around my house and selling it on eBay. My bicycle helmets, my old toys, old things like that. And then, through that, I obviously discovered the potential at stake with selling on Amazon. And how did I get started? The same way everybody gets started. I started selling books on Amazon. I wanted to figure it out so freaking bad. And, I started just engulfing myself in it. I started doing as much research as possible on how to do it. Where do you find these profitable items? How do you create a shipment? I just, obsessed over it like everything in my life. I used to obsess over baseball. I used to obsess over fishing. I just have an obsessive personality. And if you do too, I promise you will tap into something. If you have an obsessive personality, then starting a business, I promise you will do very well at. So I did as much research as possible and I crossed that finish line. I sent out my first shipment. And then when I'm back at lifeguarding, I was just swiping my phone, reloading, watching sales come in, and I finally had a passive source of income, a second stream of income while I was working. And then what's next was, how do I grow this? Well, I went back to college. After the summer was over, I had a very successful and booming book business that I brought back to college with me, right? I, by this point, was already 2 years into college, Already had spent probably 100 grand on tuition, and there was no going back. I was not going to waste my parents' money like that. I was not going to waste my time like that. And I'm also not one to just not see something through. I always see everything I set my mind to through until it tells me that I'm not welcome to keep trying at that. Okay, so I went back to college. I was partially doing Amazon at that time because I was focusing on classes. I didn't quite understand how to scale it yet. And I was just focusing on classes. I was in a fraternity. I had a new girlfriend at this point, and I was just, your average college kid, no more, no less. Had a small little Amazon business, book business that was, paying for my living expenses at college. And yeah, you get the gist. When I would go home for winter break, fall break, I would get inventory, I'd package it up, and I would send it out, and it made for a great source of income. I went back to school. I had this inventory slowly selling and cutting me a check every week. I was able to have more fun in college. I was able to buy good groceries. I was able to pay for my spring break trip, buy my plane ticket, buy all the housing and boarding on my spring break trip to go to Mexico with my friends, and not have to burden my parents, right? Because my parents were pretty strapped on cash at the time. I, at the young age of 20 years old, was a full-time student getting my undergrad degree at West Virginia University and had a passive stream of income that was paying for me to live. Most kids cannot typically say that. And however, though, I was still slowly getting isolated into the system, right? I was getting my undergrad degree. And after that year of school, it's expected to, you're coming up, you're like a year away from graduation. It's time to get an internship. I went and got an internship for a sales company back in my hometown. And I took the whole summer off from Amazon. I didn't do anything for Amazon. And I worked this internship all the way through the duration of the summer. It was a professional environment. I gained a lot of really good sales experience. It's ingrained into my brain. And yeah, at the end of the summer, they offered me a full-time position to start full-time. And I was like, okay, this is great. I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to get my undergrad degree, and I'm going to already have a full-time job lined up out of school. So I accepted, and I went back to college. However, the head, I guess, not the head manager, I don't really know what position he was, honestly, but I guess the head guy of the branch, because there were several branches of this sales company through the East Coast. The head manager of the branch, on the last day of work of the internship, he brought each intern into the office and just had a one-on-one conversation with them. And he said to me, because I had been offered a full-time job, he said, go to college and make the most of your last year in college. Because when you come out of school, there's going to be no more having fun. There's going to be just strictly working. And he clearly expressed how much of a grind it was going to be and how hard of a transition it was going to be to come out of college and work at this very, very, highly paced, fast-paced sales company. And I took that in. I really took that in. And I think I asked him, I said, how do I go make the most of my last year of college? And he looked at me and he said, Devin, go back to college and don't say no to anything. Try everything you want to try and just don't say no to anything. And I took that one sentence back to college with me. And I went back to college. I started up Amazon again. And at the time let's stop there. I went back to college, and at the time I was really into the gym, really into fitness, really into perfecting my diet, perfecting my physique. It was a challenge, but it was something that I could put an input in and I could receive an output out of. I could put X amount of time in the gym, X amount of reps, and receive X results, right? And I was in pretty good shape, and I loved feeling in shape. I loved how it felt. I loved how I looked. I loved myself. And I loved putting the work in and getting those results. As the school year went on, I took that guy's advice and didn't say no to anything, any opportunity that crossed my way. Any opportunity that came my way that I knew was more than I could take on at the time, I didn't say no to. I just said yes to it. I got skilled in videography, Adobe Premiere Pro, editing videos, and I took that skill and monetized it in college. I learned how to DJ in college, and I monetized that. I took that to the nightclubs, and I DJ'd there at the clubs to get paid. When I said earlier in the video, I throw as many things at the wall as I can and see what stuck, I really mean that's what I did in college. I tried as many things, didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. I tried whatever was in my mind. Whatever was in my mind, I went and made happen. I wanted to try DJing. I learned what it took to get there. I took it to the clubs. I made money with it. I played for sold out shows. I played out for, I opened for famous DJs that would come to the town. I knew how to video edit. I videoed at the nightclubs. I made them marketing videos. I ran their social medias. I made money just trying to monetize all my skills. And like that manager told me, don't say no to any opportunity that crosses your way. What I think he meant was go get pissed drunk with your friends and have a great time. But I took those words in a different manner. I took those words as don't say no to any opportunity that crosses your way because you don't know where it's going to lead you. And every time the club said, hey, can you DJ? When I really didn't have time to, I said, yeah. Said, can you video this event? When I really didn't have time to, I said, yeah. Can you get us this video edited by this certain time? When I really couldn't, I said, yeah. I didn't say no to any opportunity the whole year. So at this time, I was a full-time student taking 15 credits. I had a job DJing at one club when I had time to. I had a job videoing at the nightclubs both nights. I had a girlfriend at the time, and I had an Amazon business that I was slowly studying, slowly sending inventory to every time I went home. And I was not saying no to anything. I was taking on more than I could manage. And I was honestly just plain and simple figuring it out. I was just figuring out what my skills were and not specific skills like what am I good at when I'm under pressure, right? How do I capitalize when I'm feeling stressed out? How do I deal with anxiety when I'm feeling overwhelmed? How do I manage, my relationships with my intimate relationships? How do I manage that, right? And, how am I going to have a relationship one day when I'm taking on more than I can handle? All these things, that's what college is for. It's not for getting that degree. In low key, that's what they're paying money for. But, that's not what you should be using it for. You should be using it for figuring out who you are as a person and developing it as a person. And you only develop as a person by putting yourself to the test, right? Enduring pain, having learning lessons, learning things the hard way, right? Not cutting corners. That's what college is for. And I still have so much to learn about myself, but by taking on more than I could handle, by not saying no to any opportunity, by always taking on more than I could handle, gave me so much experience. It opened so many doors to meeting new people, working at the clubs, meeting producers, and just also just learning that finesse of business, working close with these business owners. I got to watch them deal with stress when they had DJ Pauly D sell out a show and ABC shows up and shut them down because of their capacity, and they're ruining their reputation. All the kids that paid money to be there are pissed off. The company was already struggling, and they go up in their room, and my little ass goes up there asking for money when that's the last thing that they want to be asked for. Of course, they paid me, they appreciated my service, but I was wise enough to know that's not what they want to hear. And listening to their conversations through the whole year, I learned so much about business just by being around it. And that was because I didn't say no to anything that was asked of me or any opportunity. I took on every opportunity in front of me. And you have to stop sometimes when an opportunity is in front of you, and you have to stop and ask yourself, why is God putting this opportunity in front of me? And you should never say no to an opportunity, because opportunities, the only thing that there is lesson and experience to gain. And if you say no to an opportunity, all you are doing is robbing yourself of what you might learn from such opportunity. And all you have to do is just try it out, take action, and see what comes of it, because all you're going to do is gain some sort of lesson, and all you're going to do is gain more things that you learn and know about yourself. You're going to learn what you're good at. You're going to learn what you're not good at, which is super important. There's no such thing as failures. In life, there is only lessons. And that was one of the most important things that I learned in college, was that there are no failures. There are just lessons. So I did that for a whole year. And that is where I truly got the money to start my Amazon business and invest in inventory. And that I started my Amazon business and took it from books all the way to products, and got up to be doing $20,000, $30,000 in revenue as soon as I started doing products in about April, right before I was about to graduate college in May. Having an Amazon business that was doing me just under $10,000 in profit a month, about to graduate college, was pretty freaking sweet. It was a feeling that I didn't expect to feel. And I was also scared at the thought of, what do I do now? I have a full-time job I'm expected to commit to. And I knew in my heart that was going to be too much for me to handle. So I had to endure a lot of pressure coming up on graduation. So graduation came up, I walked the stage, I got my diploma, and I didn't learn a damn thing about like the book stuff, right? But I learned mostly through the experiences of being in college and having the freedom to take action and experiment and figure out what I liked and what I didn't like, and just learned about myself. Now it's now it's June, and I start my full-time job out of college, and I go into an account exec position where I'm expected to do the full sales cycle. Most kids come out of college and usually accept a BDR role, which is just more so doing the marketing side of things, sending emails, making phone calls, and setting meetings for the account exec to then pick up the leads and close. Most kids coming out of college at the age of 21 just have that BDR role. And also sometimes too, they're blessed with the ability for it to be virtual, where all they're doing, sending emails, making phone calls, setting meetings, and it's a pretty sweet gig. BDR role at a tech company is a pretty sweet gig. But I came out at a staffing company where it was 5 days a week in person, had to be there at 8 a.m. sharp, requested to be there 10 minutes early every day. 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you were expected to work late a couple nights a week. I was supposed to be doing the full sales cycle of making my own lead list through scraping potential candidates that would be good to reach out to, making phone calls, getting data on what their needs are, setting meetings, and then closing meetings. And it was a lot. And to be honest though, at this point, I was already in love with Amazon. I was already in love with owning an Amazon business, and I think it was too far gone at this point. After, making $20,000, $30,000, being at work, getting told on the phone to, kick rocks, stop calling me, take me off your list, a bunch of just hateful things from people, and looking at my phone and been making several $100s that day while I was making shit money doing this. So it was really hard for me to feel passionate about this when this was what was actually working for me. I feel like what humans tend to do is they accept the circumstances that they get put into. And what I mean by that, let me provide you with an example. I had a pretty shitty and uncomfortable dorm that I moved into my freshman year, but you understand that in your brain, you tell yourself, this is what I have to do right now, and you just accept to the terms and conditions of what your current state in life is, and you just make the best of it. And a lot of times, we get out, I can see why so many people get out of college, they get into a shitty job, and they just accept these are the terms and conditions of my life, and there is no other option for me. I have to succeed at this or I'm a failure. and people will then stay in that career for the next 30 years. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be like that. You're hearing more and more people saying and telling you it does not have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. I'm living proof that it doesn't have to be like that. Aside from these other guys that are in this space that are running their own businesses and stuff, I, unlike them, have actually done the other side of what they're all telling you. Working a job is not the best thing for you. Well, they haven't even done it. They don't even have any insight on what to say about it. There are a lot of benefits there. But I'm saying there's also a lot of other benefits to going your own avenue. And a little bit of insight on what it was like to actually be in those shoes, working 40 hours a week with a 45-minute commute there and back 5 days a week, and expected to make 100 phone calls a day, 100 dials a day, set 4 meetings a week, and, have 2 solid pipeline leads a week for $47,000 a year. And I was making more than that with my Amazon business. To me, it just really wasn't worth it. But I still tried my best for as long as I could. And what really sold me on it was that I truly don't believe that the people that you work with actually care if you're successful or not. Because all you are is an ant trying to push, the company up, right? And if you don't provide, they could give less of a fuck about you. And what made me discover that was, I think, there were a lot of times when I asked my manager for help on certain things, and I'd be like, what would you say to this rebuttal? Or what would you say to this objection? And the response was, what do you think, Devin? And I'm like, I'm trading that resonated with me. I went home that day on the drive home thinking, this is what I'm trading my life for. I'm trading my life to provide value to a company where all my effort, I'm only getting cut a sliver of that to provide for myself and hopefully my family one day. And I'm here I'm showing up to work every day. I want to excel. I want to understand how to do this business because I know myself better than you know me. I know that when I understand something, I get really freaking good at it. And I'm asking you for help. You're my manager. You're in charge of my success. And you're asking me, what do I think? I understand the nature of that response. It's that I'm supposed to be self-sufficient. But, like I said, it doesn't have to be like that. You can work with someone that actually does care about your success, whether that's at a company or whether that's with a coach. It doesn't have to be like that. It does not have to be like that. And I could only take that for so long. My business wasn't quite where it was at yet. And I started applying to new companies, and I ended up finding something that was a little bit more my pace. And I decided to get back into marketing instead of some high demand sales that was 45 minutes away every day. I wasn't learning, I wasn't grasping, and I didn't feel like I was succeeding, and I didn't feel like I was going to be successful at that company. And so I got back into marketing. I went to a post production company that was, my hometown friend's family company. And I basically was a one man show. They had no marketing at the company. The company was going under. Once again, I'm working for another company that is going under, a nightclub. Sales company wasn't doing great that I was at either. And then now I'm at this post production company that is also going under. I worked there for a year. I wore many hats for them, but I learned a lot about marketing. And I honestly think all those marketing skills from that experience, I took that into my business, which is what I do now. And, those marketing skills are probably why I came up on your page. Very well likely is why you're sitting here watching this video. How I got myself in front of you. Through experience, through never saying no to any opportunity. It's just through experience. I worked at this company. I was running all their social media. I was handling incoming sales inquiries. I was helping them improve their website, improve their marketing campaigns. I was scraping contacts for them to send emails out to. I was building the email marketing letters. I was basically doing a whole marketing team's job. Say Barstool has a marketing team, which is why their marketing is so good. Or any big company, they have a team of people that do that. Well, I was one individual expected to put the company on my shoulders and save them for now $42,000 a year. And I stayed at that company for a year while month after month after month, I'm making substantially more money with my business. And you might be sitting there asking yourself, well, why would you do that, Devin? You seem like, you got it all figured out, even though I definitely don't. But, you might be sitting there thinking like, why the hell did you stay at these companies for this long when you weren't happy? They were not a good investment of your energy, your time, your effort. And why didn't you just take that effort and put it into your business? And to be honest, it's because I was scared. I was scared to break away and to run my business. It's a terrifying thing because we are all told our whole lives and crammed into the system through public school, through college, and then even into your careers that that's the only avenue you're allowed to take. If you choose to go out on your limb, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. But the only people that make substantial money in this world are business owners, people that create something, people that provide value to other people on their own. And the people that are employees are the ones that are on the news who are royally fucked, not able to buy groceries, not able to pay for gas, not able to pay for rent. Those are all employees. You don't hear any of the business owners talking about that. So why would you then put yourself down that fucking path? Why would you do that to yourself? You only have one life. You only have one life. So why would you do that to yourself? And yeah, my company that I was working at before was not doing too good. Inevitably, I couldn't take it anymore. I was making so much more money with my business, and I eventually just broke away and went full in with my business. I didn't tell my family about it. I just went in because I didn't want their opinions to affect me or to wear that weight on my shoulder, their disappointment in it, their skepticism, their doubts. I didn't want to hear them. I didn't want to feel them. I didn't want to endure them because I believed in myself. I believed in myself when I was really good at baseball growing up. I thought I could be a pro baseball player. Obviously, I'm not, but I believed in myself. I didn't come from a rich family, right? I didn't have my parents that were able to invest in me to play on the expensive travel teams. I didn't have the investment from my parents to have the nice equipment, the nice bats that you can hit a ball 400 feet with, right? I did not have the support that I needed to growing up to amount to anything. However, the only thing that actually has gotten me any substantial success was my belief in myself. When I started my Amazon business in the beginning, back in 2021, I did not tell my parents. I started it on my own, and I did not tell them because I knew they would tell me not to. I just knew they would. I didn't tell my brother because I knew he would tell me not to. I wasn't able, like, a perfect example. My mom wouldn't let me play football. When I wanted to play football as a kid, she wouldn't let me play because she thought I would get hurt. And at the end of the day, the whole reason why your parents are going to judge you for not playing into the system is the same reason. They don't want you to get hurt. They're scared. And I understand that their doubts come from a place of love. It's a place of wanting me to be safe. It's a place of them wanting me to be successful and just make sure that I'm secure. But guys, in the world that we live in, if you play the route of being secure, being safe, you are essentially agreeing to be royally fucked in a couple of years. And we're now at the point, I hope you've made it this far, where I can get even a little bit more honest with you guys about the truth about following the system and playing by the rules that they want you to play by, and the results that it's going to get you.
That's how you toast marshmallows. Don't drop your stick on the ground. Aiden, hold these out every time, buddy.
Never from cracker.
I gotta open them first.
Watch this, Dale. Watch this. Want me to do one for you? It's okay, Devin. Just go ahead and eat it.
Just get, conversation.
Okay, guys, I need a graham cracker.
Do you? All right.
Graham cracker.
You're not taking a rope to the playground. I told you this morning. You're not going to the playground with the rope.
You can play the hearing. Just toasted.
Put them at the other kids, all right? If I see it, I'll come get it from you.
Shoot at kids.
If I see it one time, you pointing at another kid, Devin, I'm coming to take it from you. Watch for cars when you get down there. That's not them. They've already let other kids play with them.
Next weekend out here, we're gonna have camp trick or treating again. If you want to, we can bring your Batman costumes.
So anyway, what's a house made out of? Devin, pick yours
Oh,
up.
I know. Wood.
Wood. And if wood burns this easy, you wouldn't want to play with furniture.
Firewood.
Doesn't matter. Wood is wood.
Well,
That was good though, Dev. Hop back over there by Aiden.
Favorite things: toasted marshmallows.
Where you going, Dev?
get another marshmallow.
Here, I get them.
I got one already. Me too. I'm getting one too.
All right, stick it on your stick, Dev. Here.
So beautiful.
Hey, are you taping me?
Yes, I am.
Here.
Are you taping Devin too?
Yes, I am.
Then who are you taping
All right,
first?
hold the
I'm
stick.
taping both of you at the same time.
Push it down through there. Don't stick it into your hand.
You know why? Because I love you both.
Okay, slide it on down some. Hey, what are y'all doing? What do you call that you're doing?
Writing art.
What? Writing on
Writing on art.
what?
Writing on art.
Couldn't hear you. You're what?
Writing on art. Pumpkin.
What are you doing,
I do that. So I'll talk to my attorney tomorrow, find out what we're going to do, and then I'll probably end up putting the house up for sale.
Do
you feel like going that direction, you'd be okay?
No, I'm not going to be okay. No. I also stay in the area. I don't, it's not my money, Devin. I'm going to try to do this on my own. But just as long as your dad doesn't try to take this other, my retirement from me, then I can buy him out with my retirement. But if he tries to take that too, then I'm fucked. So let me explain to you the situation. In my marriage, I have saved. I have spent most of my money on the family. Make sure you guys went through college. I did all of that by myself, right? Without any help. Now that, whatever the hell's going on in my marriage, I may now have to split all of that. Now, doubtless, if I didn't have to split it, then I could just buy him out. And it is just really, really hard for me to swallow this pill. Because I've been lied to, I've been cheated on, and I've been taken advantage of. But I have to fight to keep what is actually mine.
Currently, today, my parents are going through a divorce. And it is a real life experience. And I get to watch it unfold right in front of me of how following the system has played out for them. Yes, it's sad to know that my parents, all the memories that we shared together are now going to be split. And I don't know what the future is going to look like for myself, for my mom, for my dad, for my family. I have no idea. But one thing I can take away from this is, why would I take advice from someone that is going to give me advice only based on what they know from what they have done? Because you can't give advice on something you've never done. That's what people don't realize. You can't advise someone on something that you haven't done. What your parents are telling you is the only thing that they know is what they have access to information to. And all that they know is what they've done. So your parents are simply just trying to do their best to advise you on what they've already done. And for me personally, going my parents' route is a horrible, horrible route in the current day and time that we live in. My parents are going to be financially fucked from this, right? They do not have a ton of money. They are totally screwed from student loan debt, paying me and my brother to go to college. They did not save properly. They did not invest properly. They did not work together financially to build anything together. They just simply did what they thought they were supposed to do. And I do not judge them for it. This is their first time living life, just like it is all of our first time living life. And all we're trying to do is do simply our best. So I do not judge them. This is their first time ever going through something like this. And I know that they are doing their best right now. And at my age, all I can do is just be there to support them both. However, I have to then think about myself and look at how life has planned out for them and think about what are the best decisions for me to take. And all they did was did what they thought they were supposed to do. Wake up, go to work every day, put money in their 401k, and then the rest of the money pay their mortgage, and then the rest of the money they could spend however they want, right? Well, doing that will ensure that by the time that you're 60, if you endure any sort of problem, it is going to ruin you financially. And guess what? With the American statistic, there's a 50% chance that that could be you and your wife if you do not take action and set yourself up financially well and start at a young age and start making the right decisions. Start educating yourself on how you can make the right decisions, because the leading cause to divorce is always money. The leading cause to divorce is finances. It's do your research. The leading cause to why 50% of Americans get divorced simply always leads back to money. So I know I've been talking for a little while just about my past and just what has led me up to where I'm at now. But I want to provide a little bit of facts for you for how you can prevent yourself from this becoming your reality like it's the reality of 50% of Americans. If you're an employee, congratulations. You signed a contract and you know exactly how much you're going to make at the end of the year. You know. No more, no less. You know. And that's if you keep your job. That's if your company can afford to keep you. That's if you provide value. And that's if you provide more value than you're worth. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now let's talk a little bit about how much you get to keep, right? Because we're not talking about how much you get to make. Intelligent people worry about how much they get to keep at the end of the year as a business owner. Well, let's start out with the biggest and most important reason as to why your income, your money coming in, being categorized as business income, not employee income. What's the most important factor about that is how it's taxed. This money coming in as an employee before it gets given to you gets taxed. And then it's given to you, right? As a business owner now, when this comes in, it doesn't get taxed. I get it first. I make $20, okay, I get $20 first. And then I get to take this $20 and I get to spend it on gas. And I get to spend it on living. And I get to spend it on business expenses. I get to spend it on my car if it needs a repair. I get to spend it on whatever I need to. And then after all that stuff has been spent, I get to accumulate all those expenses and write it off how much actually I kept at the end of the year, how much I net profited at the end of the year, and I get taxed less. And I get taxed secondhand. So I get to keep my money. I can do whatever I want with this money until I owe my taxes with it. That means I can take this money and I can take the full whole sum of what I get and invest it. I can have it compound. Instead of, right, $20 taxed is actually 20% that gets taken off. So instead of an employee, $16 I get to invest, I get to take $20 and have $20 compound as opposed to $16 compound. That's exactly what I do. I take my income and I reinvest it. I reinvest it and I diversify. It's all these things that I'm going to teach you if we work together. I take my money, I invest it in the stock market. I invest a little bit in the market. I invest a little bit in my business. I invest in other things that appreciate. And then after all my money has compounded, I owe my taxes at the end of the year. And then I take my profits of what have compounded because I'm investing the whole amount. And I pay off my taxes with that and leave what's already in continuing to ride up and appreciate. Versus the flip side, you're an employee. You're working harder. You're getting, you're spending your time. You're working 40 hours a week. You have to put on a smile when you show up to work. You can't be in a bad mood. No. If you're in a bad mood at work, you're bringing the whole team down. You're not cut out for the work environment. You're not allowed to have bad days. You're not allowed to be sad. And you get to get taxed. You get taxed up front. And you don't get to write off any of your living expenses. Even if you are an employee, you should still have some sort of business, right? I'm not saying you can't be an employee at all. You can still have a business. And then you can take your living expenses and stuff and write that shit off. Versus if you don't have a business or don't have a side hustle or something where the money coming in is categorized as business income, you do not get to use those rules and loopholes that America has in place for you. That's the thing. America wants you to own a business. America wants you to. All these rules are in place for you to just take advantage of them, but they don't teach you these in school, right? It's only this new era that we're living in where people are finally starting to speak up about the benefits to owning a business and having your income categorized as a business or providing value in some sort of way where you can call it a business, right? These rules are in place for anybody to use. Nothing validates you or makes you allowed to be able to call yourself a business owner. And every year that you're not taking advantage of these benefits, you are just wasting money. You are just screwing yourself and setting yourself up to be less financially well off as opposed to those that take the jump, take the first step, get started, educate themselves, and begin the process of setting themselves up. So I know I've probably talked enough now at this point. I hope that you watched this all the way through. I hope that this video gives you a little bit of a better understanding of my past, who I am, what has gotten me to this point, and I genuinely wish nothing but the best for you, for your family, and for your future. And I hope in some manner or another, I'm able to help provide value and help contribute and help change your life, just like I did with my own life and like I've done with everybody else that I've worked with. Hope to see you on the inside.